destroy what is around us is to destroy ourselves. To cheat another is to cheat ourselves, said the Buddha. The Hunas, predatory horse lords of the northern plains, were a living mockery of these words. Long had they lain dormant, drunk on wealth and decadence, but the chilling memories of their wretched work, of pillaged cities and plundered crops, of burnt monasteries and butchered monks, were as vivid in our minds as the sheen of the morning sun on the snowy crowns of distant mountains. Equally dreadful were the rumors that these Hunas, who watched with glee as their neighbors whittled each other down, had begun to stir once more. The Pratiharas and Rashtrakutas may have been long-time enemies of Devapala's family, but unchecked, the Hunas posed an even greater threat. Renunciation of desire will bring an end to one's dissatisfaction. That is the third noble truth. So Devapala renounced his struggle with his forefathers' rivals and marched his forces north into the demon's lair to crush the foul Hunas forever.
The Hunas once burned our temples and slew our monks. Now, we will take the fight to these Khans and their mounted hordes.
The Hunas' hate has made them powerful, but they are not beyond redemption. Perhaps our monks can sway their Khans from their insidious path.
You have shown yourself not entirely feeble. But one small victory does not win a war. Need I remind you of the relics that our ancestors looted from yours?
আদেশ সত্য।
Our monks have swayed this Khan from the unrighteous path. Now he and his followers will do battle with our enemies.
You are still winning battles? This is impossible!
Our wounds from the battle over Kanauj are still fresh, Devapala. But we sense a greater threat to the north. Will you let the enemy of your enemy become your friend? For however short a time.
Let us destroy the Pratiharas, cousin. Those scum will jump at the first chance to betray us.
Emperor, while you may desire vengeance, remember that renunciation is one of the four noble truths. The Hunas are our true enemy.
The city of Multan foolishly supplies our Hunar adversaries. We should make an example out of it.
Venerable Devapala, look. Reformed by our teachings, your new Huna allies take the field against their despicable brethren.
তোমার সেবায় আমি যাই।
So, you seek to pillage the great city of Multan. You are no better than the marauders who you claim to oppose.
The relics did not survive the destruction that your armies have wreaked. This is a poor omen.
তোমার সেবায় আমি যাই। সত্য।
Multan's stockpiles are ours. Let the world know the fate of those who would defy the Palas.
You are not the only ones to refine your weapons and reform your armies. Prepare to be ridden down like grass!
This Khan has been struck down. His people will no longer threaten us.
নির্মাণকারী
হয় আমি যাই সত্য
Fool! Your slow armies are no match for the swift hordes of the steppe.
হয় হয়
This Khan has been struck down. His people will no longer threaten us. We have subdued the nefarious Hunas. Never again will they threaten our lands or our faith.
Evil must exist so that good can prove its purity, said the Buddha. The Pala army shone like the brightest of lights as it plunged into lands darkened by the Huna's corrupt and wicked ways. No obstacle was too great for it, no foe too fierce. Some Hunas saw the error of their ways and pledged themselves to our monks' teachings. Those who did not were struck down or vanished into the shadows. As Devapala strode through the ranks of his cheering warriors, I was elated by our victory. Yet something in the Emperor's gaze stirred a feeling of dread within me. The would-be Bodhisattva was now being hailed as a great conqueror above all, and I feared that this change had taken root even in the Emperor's mind. It is in one's own mind, not their enemy or foe, that lures them to evil ways, said the Buddha. As I feared, our Emperor had indeed changed. The seed of self-righteousness, planted long ago and nurtured by uninterrupted success, had begun to bear fruit. In Devapala's mind, the ends now justified the means, no matter how terrible or costly. And so he ordered a campaign to the south to subjugate the Pandyas, a proud people who were former allies and trading partners of his, and bring them the teachings of the Buddha. When word of this reached me, I burst into my Emperor's chambers, begging him to reconsider. Needless aggression is not the mark of a virtuous ruler, I said, and forced conversion only thickens the resolve of a people against the creed. I told him that this war would cost thousands of lives and bring suffering to countless more. But the words that once guided him towards the path of light now fell on deaf ears. It is as one nears the summit of the mountain that the footing becomes most treacherous. Now all I could do was helplessly watch as the armies of a tyrant descended upon a new victim.
Your wish is my command, cousin. I will bring the feeble Pandyas to heel, whatever the cost.
তোমার সেবায়
I am not so sure about this venture, Venerable Devapala. War only creates more dissatisfaction and suffering, not less.
Our
কাঠুরিয়া
ability to obtain supplies is limited. We should look to the sea for food and plunder the contents of enemy castles.
If you must conquer these lands, please do so as swiftly and as bloodlessly as you can. Every drop of blood spilled is a step away from your enlightenment.
For once, there is sense in the advisor's words. If we construct a fleet, we can level the Pandya fortifications from the sea. We have leveled a Pandya castle. The land that it defended is ours now.
Pala armies venturing this far south? What are you doing, Devapala?
We have leveled a Pandya castle. The land that it defended is ours now.
The Pandya lands will fall, and then what? Will you enforce your dogmatic rule upon all of India?
A good conqueror is not a butcher. Your conduct has inspired monks to bring the word of the Buddha to your new subjects.
We have leveled the Pandya castle. The land that it defended is ours now. The Pandya lands are ours now, cousin. Your glory knows no bounds.
This is outrageous! We will not sit
Adi.
idly by as you oppress our neighbors.
সত্যরে
Prepare for war.
This Rashtrakuta castle lies in ruins. Secure the buildings and continue our thrust into enemy territory.
Will the supplies that you plunder be enough to feed your starving army?
This Rashtrakuta castle lies in ruins. Secure the buildings and continue our thrust into enemy territory.
Are you going to kill me, Devapala? Your dear mother hailed from these lands, Devapala. Your invasion spits on her memory. You dare threaten our glorious temple? The gods will decide your fate.
Your arrogance has led you to destroy this great temple. And for what? Lord Buddha weeps while the gods shut up their eyes in scorn.
Your marauding will not break the resolve of my people. Our vengeance will be sweet.
You only lose what you cling to, said the Buddha. Devapala found that to be all too true. The more he tightened his grip on the south, the more it, or perhaps more accurately its ashes, slipped through his fingers. My emperor and his bellicose cousin had created a nightmare. There was no cheer or pride to be felt as the Pala army struck its tents and began the long march back home. The stench of death and smoke choked the air, punctuated by the haunting wails of the broken people that my emperor and his forces left behind. Tormented by the recognition of his arrogance and its price, Devapala breathed not a single word during the entire week-long journey home. Just as a snake sheds its skin, we must shed our past time and time again, said the Buddha. Devapala sat meditating in silence for days in the great temple, refusing to eat and only occasionally sipping the water beside him. Finally, he turned to me, took my hands in his, stared into my eyes in regret, and pledged to make amends. Dwell not on the past, nor dream of the future. Focus your mind fully on the present moment, I told him, repeating the words of the Buddha. The Noble Eightfold Path is the way by which one can renounce desire, end dissatisfaction, and attain enlightenment. That is the fourth noble truth. I told Devapala that he still had a realm to rule, people to care for, and borders to protect. That the fate of an entire empire rested on his weary, half-starved shoulders. As I stared into my emperor's sunken eyes, I saw a glimmer of hope ignite into fiery resolve. An otherworldly energy possessed him, emanating from every aspect of his being. And right then I knew that the old Devapala had returned for good. He would need that unfaltering resolve in the coming months. Infuriated by his foray south, and emboldened by his failure to hold on to his new possessions, the Pratiharas and the Rashtrakutas leapt at their weakened prey. Devapala still had one last war to fight. Redemption is within reach, Emperor Devapala. The virtuous man delights in this world and the next, rejoicing when he sees the purity of his own.
I was tempted by greed and led you astray, cousin. I will hold off our approaching enemies while you make amends, even if I must die in the process.
Follow the Noble Eightfold Path to Nirvana, Emperor Devapala. By watching over your realm, you will also watch over yourself.
Kathriya, Khononkari.
Earnestness is the path to Nirvana. Those who are truly earnest do not die. 3 things cannot remain hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Right view and resolve are crucial to your quest to tread the virtuous path once more. Through right speech and action, you have continued on that noble path. It is good to nurture the mind, for such a mind brings happiness. Thank you for valuing education, Venerable Devapala.
I feel myself being consumed by anger and hatred. Is it possible that I am becoming the enemy whom I have sought to destroy?
Your right effort and livelihood demonstrate your commitment to staying the course. With right mindfulness and concentration, you have reached enlightenment. Nirvana awaits.
Adesh. Nirmankari. Hoy.
Earnest among the thoughtless, awake among the sleepers, the wise man advances like a racer, leaving behind the pack.
The same man who invaded my land in the past would not have bested me now. You'll change for the better, Devapala.
One who delights in reflection and looks upon thoughtlessness with fear cannot fall away. He is close upon Nirvana. One who acts on truth is happy in this world and beyond.
The Pala armies fight like tigers. I fear that our mounted forces have met their match.
I was blinded by my arrogance, Devapala. I can assure you that you will have no need to humble me again.
It is better to travel well than to arrive, said the Buddha. My emperor and I pondered these words as we gazed across the city from the palace tower. It was curiously soothing to observe from above. As the monks returned to their temples, the scholars exited the university, and the bustling townsfolk rushed home for the evening. With our former rivals gone and an agreement reached, all of these people could now look forward to peace for the foreseeable future. It was a heartwarming thought, to none more so than my emperor. Perhaps we may never arrive, he mused, watching the glow of the sun fade into a rich muted orange as it sank towards the horizon. But with you by my side, I am sure to always travel well.